Sum 41 are one of the best bands ever in the rock, punk rock, kind of metal um, genre. And they're very diverse because when you think of a song like Pieces, which is more stripped back, acousticy, and heartfelt, you're not calling that a metal song. But they do the metal stuff really well, like Hellsong, some of their more recent stuff, like Rise Up, which is an incredible song, by the way, Screaming Bloody Murder. Like, what's so good about this band is they have never swayed from the kind of stuff they actually care about putting out. Whereas a lot of bands, some of which I'm very into, like let's say Green Day, who I'm not as into as Sum 41, but Blink 182, probably I would have to say one of my favorite bands of all time because I love the guys. I feel like I really know them and I've followed them across decades, and now they're coming to the end of their career. But you could criticize Blink 182 or Green Day or, I don't know, Avril Lavigne or pretty much any other act for being swayed by money and appealing to the mainstream so they can get on the radio and therefore get more popular. I preferred Taylor Swift stuff when it was all folky and that. But who am I to criticize Taylor Swift? I think she's doing pretty well for herself. And credit to her. I mean, I watched the Disney show, which was what, 3.5 hours or something of her performance. And she's got talent, man. Like, you can't knock it. Even if you don't like all of the type of music she's putting out, you have to appreciate the hard work that's going into those shows, the choreography. Personally, 3.5 hours of anyone's music's enough to kind of get me a bit bored and wanting to get out of my seat. But she's popular for a reason. But what's amazing to me is Sum 41, obviously they had a lot of success from their initial hits like In Too Deep, Fat Lip, Motivation, which are still some of their best songs. But they never stopped being good. And why that's so crazy to me is when they started to really party hard and they were drinking 2 liters of Jack Daniels a night between them, and they had girls and stuff around. They're living the rock and roll lifestyle while killing their brain cells through alcohol and destroying their livers, which in turn nearly did kill the singer Derek, right? He almost died in hospital from alcohol abuse, which he just hit him hard. He said in interviews that he felt he could drink and just felt indestructible. It just made him feel good. He could drink a lot and still feel sober, but behind the scenes, his body is starting to waste away from it. So thank God he didn't die, because not only have they put out some great albums and songs since, he actually seems like a really lovely guy. For anyone that cares about Sum 41 and hasn't already, I strongly recommend listening or reading, but the audiobook was amazing. His autobiography, Walking Disaster, I really enjoyed it thoroughly. It's only like 8 hours long, but there's lots of good little stories and detail. For example, his relationship and failed marriage with Avril Lavigne, how the band kind of broke up a couple of times and some conflicts within the band, his issues with alcohol addiction and going into rehab and stuff. Just really interesting. And he is just a great guy. That really just comes across in that book. And I know he's the one writing it, but he's just a good person. But the fact that they were all nearly killing themselves with alcohol, and then they put out the album Screaming Bloody Murder when a lot of the world has forgotten who they are. I don't know if they had a record label at that point, but they would have had a new one if anybody, so they felt very like, we're doing this on our own. The studio was in the house where they're partying every night. I just don't know. If you listen to that album, and again, I know music's subjective, some people might not like that kind of stuff, but every song on that album is a hit. Every song is unskippable. It's incredible. How the fuck did they do that, man? And actually, Derek said in his book that when he was in the hospital for like a year, learning to walk again, learning to be able to like move, and he lost a lot of weight, and he's still extremely kind of underweight now, and I think that's just part of it. But he just forgot how to write songs. And this is something I can empathize with, because while I've never had any success from music, and I'm not comparing myself to Derek Whibley, who's an incredible songwriter, I used to be able to write songs and it came naturally to me. I didn't have to think about it. I had to get a notepad and write stuff down because I was like, this is just coming to me. And even now, I can look back on lyrics I wrote, and I'm like, that was really fucking good. And I still don't feel like that was me writing it. It just would come to me. And that's how he describes it. But when he came off alcohol and, during all the rehab, he realized I can't, physically, he couldn't play guitar and stand up and do anything. Like, he didn't know how he would ever get on stage again. And then one day he said it just clicked. He was writing the song War, which was on the 13 Voices album, their comeback album. And the only line he had to go off was, what am I fighting for? Because he's like, I want to fucking kill myself, because if I can't do music, what's the point? Which is sometimes, again, not that that's been my identity, but it was very important for me to be able to write songs. And the fact I've not been able to for like 5 years now is like, I miss it, because it felt like I had something kind of special about me. Rather than being just someone that goes to work and comes home and watches telly or plays video games, it felt like this is kind of part of my character. So I can only imagine that to his level, where he's had all this fame and success and money. Not that it's about the money, I don't think, for them. He's like, who the fuck am I if I can't do music? Like, so he literally just thought, what am I fighting for? Everything back and more. And then he started writing a really killer album, and their comeback album was arguably, and definitely, in my opinion, way better than Blink's Neighborhoods, which I don't think is bad, by the way. A lot of people didn't like that album. But 13 Voices, I reckon there's loads of Sum 41 fans out there that never listened to the later stuff. That album is quality as well. Deaf to Pop, great song. The first song, or maybe it's the second one actually on the album, A Death of Crows, I'm pretty sure it's called. That was his song about being angry that his friends had let him down. He'd been used by people. And he was just singing like, hey, you're all fucking dead to me. Like, when you've got that emotion and you've been through fucking hospital or nearly died, that will inspire you to write powerful, emotive music. And thank God there are people that can put that shit out there, because when you listen to it and you're having a bad day, they might be singing about a completely different scenario, but just the emotion you can capture in the voice, that's what you don't get in most pop songs. Generic, auto-tune, bull fucking shit songs, yeah? Apart from someone like Lewis Capaldi. Again, I don't really like his music that much, but his stuff's good, because it's real. Like, he's putting his heart and soul into it, and what he's singing about, he's not just thinking, how do I write a song? He's like, I'm going to write a song because I'm feeling all this stuff. And that's really what music is, an expression. But anyway, I don't know if I said at the start of this video, the show at Wembley was incredible. I absolutely loved it. I'm very sad that they are apparently, because you never know, they'll be back in 5 years, won't they? Apparently going to retire next year, doing a final show in Canada where they began, I guess, their hometown, Montreal. I don't know, somewhere in Canada, Montreal. But yeah, that's it, man. Check out, if you're not into their stuff or you've not really listened, Screaming Bloody Murder. Just listen to that album and tell me it's not good. And if you tell me it's not good, there's something seriously wrong with your brain. But cheers for listening to me ramble on, guys. I'm really passionate about the band, though. Like, I fucking love Sum 41. So good. And I'm just really appreciating the kind of heavy stuff, because I get pissed off by life. I get frustrated. And something like the Hell song, or Over My Head, Better Off Dead, those kinds of songs, like, they resonate with me. I don't want to listen to happy shit. Give me some fucking angry rock music. Cheers.